Hi everyone, we are on lesson 9.2 in your colored math book, and that is on page 347. Today we are going to learn how to relate hundredths and decimals. The essential question asks, how can you record hundredths as fractions and decimals? The lesson previous to this one in 9.1, we learned how to do it tenths and decimals. So it's the same exact thing, except it's just another place that we're doing it. All right, so let's start with unlocking the problem. The question says, in the 2008 Summer Olympic Games, the winning time in the men's 100 meter butterfly race was only 1/100th second faster than the second place time. What decimal represents this fraction of a second? You can write hundredths as a fraction or a decimal. So, what decimal represents this fraction of a second? Right there, we need 1/100th second faster. So, let's click here. I'm going to scooch this up just a little bit. All right. Yesterday, if you remember, this was broken, or in the lesson previous, if you remember, this was broken into 10 pieces. Today, it's broken into 100 pieces. So we're going to shade 1/100th of the model, which would be one piece. How are we going to write that as a fraction? The model is divided into 100 equal parts. Each part represents 1/100th. So, and we're going to write it 1/100. There you go. So, as a decimal, complete the place value chart. 1/100th is 100. There's no holes. How many tenths are there? There's no tenths, so there's just 1/100th. Relate this to money, everyone. This is what I've told you in my class. Relate this to money. This is like a penny, 1 penny. If you did it like this, you can put zeros after, it's okay, and it doesn't change the value. But this would be related to a dime. So that's why you have to be really careful where you're putting this 1. Here, it's like a penny. If you would do it by accident and put it here, it would be like a dime. So you'd have 10 cents. Here you have 1 cent. Here you have 10 cents. So just kind of think about that when you're doing it. What do you want? What are they asking you for? Here, they only want 1 penny, 1/100th. So that's kind of like a penny. In the lesson previous, we were doing the whole thing, so that was like a dime or 10 cents. So it's written a little differently. All right, so here we're going to write it as a decimal. And all we say is 1/100th. 1/100th. All right, so let's move on. And it's the same question right there. Now we're going to do it on a number line. So here's your number line. And we're breaking it into smaller pieces. Yesterday our number line was just broken to tenths. Today it's broken into hundreds. So by the time we get to the end, we're going to have, you have 50 so far. It's broken into 50 pieces. Now it's broken into 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100 pieces. So this would be 10 hundredths. This would be 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths. Here, though, is what you're looking at, because you're looking at 1/100th. So it's right there. It's so small. Look how small that is. It is right there in that little spot. It's not even 10th. It is 100th. So name the same amount as 100th. So you would put 0.01. And you would call that 100th. Because remember, it stopped in the hundredths place. Didn't stop in the tenths place. It stopped in the hundredths place. So the winning time was 0.01. That was an extremely close race. It wasn't even a second because 1 second would have been here. It was so small of a second. It was 1/100th of a second. All right, so let's go back to see what our question was asking today. How can you record hundredths as fractions and decimals? So we recorded 100th as a fraction and 100th as a decimal. We write it 1/100, or we just make sure it's in that hundredths place. All right, I hope you understood. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye, everyone.